Urgent Steelers fan, look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest your team news, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. The one position Steelers must draft early to maximize the 2025 season, the Steelers need to get stronger up front to be real contenders. The Pittsburgh Steelers' biggest goal this season has to be ending their long playoff drought. The moves they have made so far this offseason indicate that they are trying to maximize their ceiling for 2025, whether it's their pursuit of Aaron Rodgers, the signing of aging corner Darius Slay, or the big trade for DK Metcalf, General. Manager Omar Khan is doing his best to raise the talent level of the roster for at least this upcoming season. With that in mind, how can they use the draft to continue that mission? The roster still has spots that could use an injection of talent, but one position lines up as both a need and a strength of the 2025 NFL Draft. Pittsburgh Steelers must address the defensive interior in the draft to contend in 2025, even with Cam Hayward and the ascending Keanu Benton in the middle of their defense. The Steelers are still in need of difference makers along the defensive line. Looking across the league at the top contenders, nearly all of them have a deep and talented defensive front. The Eagles are the best example of this, and it was perhaps the biggest factor in them winning the Super Bowl in 2024. Hayward is still an elite player, but he turns 36 in 2025. Benton has shown flashes of brilliance, but he lacks the ability to impact the running game. After those two, does anyone on the roster have meaningful upside? I would confidently say no. The 2025 NFL Draft is full of potential impact players at interior defender, so much so that several day one starters could make it beyond the first two rounds. Pittsburgh no longer has a second-round pick thanks to the Metcalf trade, but where they pick in the first round could be the sweet spot for many of the best defensive tackles. Players like Oregon's Derek Harmon, Michigan's Kenneth Grant, Mississippi's Walter Nolan, and Ohio State's Tylik Williams could all be available at pick 21. Any of them would be huge upgrades to either the run defense, pass defense, or both. While positions like corner, receiver, and quarterback could be considered just as much of a need, no position would make a bigger impact if selected early than defensive tackle. Pausing this news, just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest, the black and gold news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks. Now let's get back to the news. Pittsburgh Steelers exploring QB trade market amid Aaron Rodgers. Uncertainty, free agent quarterback. Aaron Rodgers has been spotted throwing footballs to Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver DK Metcalf. Despite all the signs pointing to Rodgers and the Steelers being the perfect match before the 2025 draft, the four-time NFL MVP has not agreed to any deal with Pittsburgh. The Steelers are still looking at other quarterback options while Rodgers takes his time. After all, the Minnesota Vikings are keeping the doors open to signing Rodgers this offseason. Aaron Rodgers is headed somewhere. Earlier this week at the annual league meeting, Steelers owner Art Rooney II said that he believes Rodgers is headed in the Steelers' direction. We keep hearing that he's, I guess, headed in our direction, Rooney said via ESPN's Brooke Pryor, and so that seems to indicate that all signs are positive so far. The Pittsburgh Steelers were interested in Joe Milton per Jordan Schultz of Fox Sports. The Steelers hedged their bets on the quarterback trade market. They were one of several teams interested in trading with the New England Patriots for Joe Milton III before they chose the Dallas Cowboys as their partner. My understanding is since Joe Milton became available at the start of the offseason, teams that showed interest included the Raiders, Eagles, Giants, Steelers, and the Cowboys. Schultz posted on X. The Patriots had a better offer for Milton, but chose to send him where he wanted out of respect for him, per source. Milton wanted a trade to a destination where he could win a starting job. Given Dak Prescott's injury history, he could earn playing time in Dallas. However, the Steelers would have been an intriguing destination for Milton if he wanted to be a starter in the future. One doesn't see Rodgers, who will turn 42 in the upcoming season, staying in Pittsburgh for the remainder of Milton's rookie deal. Aaron Rodgers contacted Kevin O'Connell. On Vikings' interest, although the Steelers continue to express confidence Aaron Rodgers will eventually become their next starting quarterback, the four-time MVP is moving toward a fourth week as a free agent. Rodgers threw passes to DK Metcalf recently, which would represent a good sign for Pittsburgh's prospects to close this market. but uncertainty remains. A report late last month indicated Rodgers communicated to the Vikings they were his preferred landing spot, and some in the organization backed a deal. The team's plan remains to deploy J.J. McCarthy as the starter and ESPN. Com's Kevin Seifert notes this aim influenced both Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones' decisions to leave Minnesota. It has not deterred Rodgers just yet. Kevin O'Connell confirmed. Rodgers reached out to him during his free agency, and Seifert indicates the two spoke multiple times this offseason. Relaying those discussions up the chain with the Vikings, O'Connell is still preparing to develop McCarthy into a Week 1 starter this year, though the party line in Minnesota has not locked in this status for last year's number 10 overall pick. Aaron and I have had a relationship for a long time, O'Connell said this week. He initially reached out, and we were able to have some conversations. We were on the hunt to always improve our football team and put our football team in the best possible chance to win. He happened to be at a point in time in his career where he was free to have some real dialogue about what his future may look like, and we happened to be one of those teams that he reached out to. Rodgers, 41, and O'Connell, 39, did not play together during the latter's time touring the league attempting to catch on as a backup. O'Connell enjoyed stints with the Patriots, Lions, Jets, Dolphins, and Chargers from 2802. O'Connell also never coached in Green Bay, so citing a relationship is certainly interesting, especially pertaining to a potential alliance in Minnesota. It might take a while, however, before the Vikings consider circling back. Minnesota's minicamp will run from June 10-12. Teams regularly reevaluate rosters between minicamp and training camp, though quarterback additions, especially starter-caliber QBs, are obviously rare. The Vikings do have a history of late arriving. Starters having traded for Sam Bradford after Teddy Bridgewater's severe 2016 knee injury and signed Brett Favre during training camp. The Steelers, who have met with Rodgers and confirmed their offer made early in free agency, is still on the table, should not be expected to wait that long for an answer. It will be interesting if Rodgers does not inform the AFC North team of his plans by the draft. Rodgers has not seen the Steelers increase their offer, though it stands to reason the team might if he holds out longer, and the Washington Post's Jason LaCanfora indicates the future first-ballot Hall of Famer may have a hard time adjusting to his new market. The Giants were believed to have offered Rodgers the most money. They eventually pivoted to Russell Wilson on a one-year $10.5 million deal. Rodgers should not be expected to come close to his Packers or Jets salaries, and while the 20-year veteran is prioritizing fit, it would stand to reason money is a factor here. The Vikings may also not know if McCarthy is truly ready after 2 meniscus surgeries until he begins to face competition during 11-on-11 settings, at the very least. That would not happen until training camp. That timeline obviously affects the Steelers, even if they have effectively pushed the Giants out of this race. It is worth wondering how big the gap between Rodgers' views of the Vikings and Steelers are. The bigger the difference in the QB's opinion of these teams, the longer it would make sense for him to wait. The Steelers continue to express patience. But if Rodgers does not sign, they will need to either seriously consider Mason Rudolph as a bridge or look into another veteran. Mike Tomlin said his 2023 playoff starter could still serve as a starter, but that is certainly not the organization's goal. Joe Flacco remains in free agency, and Kirk Cousins is a trade candidate. Pittsburgh continues to do homework on draft prospects, but holding the number 21 overall pick in a draft not flooded with high-level QB prospects, this reminds of the Kenny Pickett year. And now, Steelers fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for the black and gold. I'll be back any moment with more Steeler Nation news. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.